You know, the harsh truth of being African that I had to actually learn in the history books as I became a historian is that the western part of Africa is actually cursed because they sold their people into slavery. If you really read into slavery, you understand so much deeper into why the Western world is where it is. I mean, the Western part of Africa is the way it is. I married into a very powerful last name. And when I started doing my research on my ex-husband's family's last name, I found out that his family was known as being one of the
Africans sold their own into slavery. I hate this comment so much and get it so often, so let's talk about why that statement is both heinous and disingenuous. First, if you read, you'd know that African systems of servitude were fundamentally different from what Europeans created. In many African societies at the time, enslavement was temporary, often results of war, debt, or crime, and people could marry, own property, and even regain freedom. That is nothing like the racialized, hereditary, and dehumanizing system of chattel slavery that Europeans built, a system where black people were treated as livestock, bred for labor, and tortured into submission.
Greetings and welcome to Auntie Yami channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about a viral video that has been circulating online where some black Americans claim that the western part of Africa is cursed because of slavery. The comments and reaction to this video has sparked heated debates. Has sparked heated debates across the social media with people from different backgrounds sharing their opinions about history, pain, and responsibility. But where does this belief come from? And why are some people expressing these views today? In this video, we'll break down the historical context, the emotional impact of slavery, and ongoing conversation between Africans and the African diaspora. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share as we listen to this video in full.
You know, the harsh truth of being African that I had to actually learn in the history books as I became a historian is that the western part of Africa is actually cursed because they sold their people into slavery. If you really read into slavery, you understand so much deeper into why the Western world is where it is. I mean, the Western part of Africa is the way it is. I married into a very powerful last name. And when I started doing my research on my ex-husband's family's last name, I found out that his family was known as being one of the biggest slave traders and sellers. Like, that was his bloodline. That's how they made their money. And when I brought it up, he was like, oh, don't say that, don't say that. A lot of Africans don't also want to take responsibility for the fucked up shit that they did to cause the 400 years of slavery. A lot of them don't take that. And that's something that's going to always be a problem until we have that harsh conversation, which is why it's always like, it perplexes me when I see Africans have such an arrogance and think they're better than black Americans, when I'm looking at you like, all this is the bloodline of your ignorant family members all the way back, right? But when I have these conversations, people get mad at me, but these are facts. You can go through the slave trade. It started off with Africans, Western Africans, selling off war criminals, then debtors. This is shit that if you don't read and know your history, your past, you won't know your future. But like I said, the Western African hemisphere is cursed because of the slave trade.
Let's finally bury the most disrespectful lie white historians ever cooked up, the lie that Africans sold other Africans into slavery. Stop repeating that nonsense. It's a pathetic attempt to spread the blame and wash the blood off the hands of the European empires who orchestrated the entire Holocaust. Africa is not a country full of one people. It is a vast continent with thousands of distinct nations and ethnicities. Europeans didn't just walk up to a market, they instigated centuries of war. They flooded our continent with firearms, creating a horrific arms race where you either captured your enemies to trade for guns, or your entire nation would be captured and annihilated. They turned neighbor against neighbor in a storm of violence that they alone created and profited from. This was not a partnership. It was a multi-century campaign of colonization and terror. The entire brutal system, from the slave castles like Elmina, to the financing from banks in London and Lisbon, to the chattel laws written in America, was designed, executed, and enforced by white supremacy for white profit. For every African ruler who was corrupted or coerced, there were countless others like Queen Zinga who fought back with everything they had. The blame lies squarely with the architects of the system, the European and American empires who built their wealth on our backs. Don't you ever forget who the real enemy is.
The question lies, why now? Why is she saying that the western part of Africa is cursed because of slavery? Drop a comment and let me know what you think. African complicity is undeniable. Why is it that it's undeniable? Dahomey, which is known as Benin in the modern days, things made slave raiding a core policy, selling thousands every year. Ashanti Empire in Ghana fought wars primarily to capture prisoners for sale. What about Oyo Empire in Nigeria? They dominated regional slave markets, exporting captives from wars. What about Congo kingdoms? That is Angola and Congo. They participated in selling captives every. What do you think about that? Do you agree on what she's saying and what history is saying? Let me know your views. And do you believe that we have to divide because of the past? I can understand the pain. Let's debate and hear from each and everyone views. Africans, where are you? Diasporas, where are you? Let me know what you think, because this is an ongoing pain where up to now it will pass from generation up to generation, because all these future generations will be reminded about the same thing, because even as Africans, we keep on reminding our brothers and sisters in diaspora about what really happened. We still remind them in the Caribbean on what happened, even though some of them, they don't want to hear about that, but we still dig them, we still remind them. Are we the ones causing these drying wounds to resurrect? Let me know what you think as you continue to subscribe, like, comment, and share.
Why is black people being nice to Africans anyways? Don't you motherfuckers know Africans are the ones that sold you to the white man and the west coast of Africa because they knew that you are not African? Don't you know what Africans call us in America? Kata, slave. They know who they are. They come from 100 and something countries over there, and they know exactly, can pinpoint exactly where they are. We are not Africans. We stayed in Africa for 1,000 years after we were chased out of Jerusalem. All right? We moved to Africa. We was chilling for about 1,000 years until the Africans and the Arabics came together and sold us in the transatlantic slave trade and the sub-Saharan slave trade. So no, stop being nice to these Africans. When they bring their ass over here, you're supposed to treat them just like a goddamn German or some shit. They had you in slavery too. Just because they black, they not your brothers. We don't know them. We are not cousins. We are not brothers. We are not family. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? African. I'm an African king. I'm an African queen. No, you're not. That's disgusting to be. Ew. When people drink cow blood, you are not African. You are from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Naphtali, Gad, Reuben, Simeon. You are not an African. So don't kiss African ass when they come over. Do not move over for them. Put them in their place. Motherfuckers had you in slavery and you sitting here trying to help these motherfuckers out and playing with their kids and feeding them. Fuck them. They not our family. They just as bad as the white man. Just as bad. You're supposed to take what you can take from them.
why black people were chosen as slaves. Why were they targeted? All colors in this world, they are made slaves. Slavery is happening to date in most of the colors. But why is it that Atlantic slave trade is the talk of the town to date? Why is it that up to now people will never forget about it? However, it shows that black people were is a target to capture. Do you know why? Because our chiefs, our kings, our leaders, they were targeting prisoners, or else if you don't like some tribe, you sell them as slaves. If someone has committed a crime, that person will be sold as a slave. You name it. You can even add more and more comments because I don't know much about it. But otherwise, we are all learning. And also, black people were easily identified. Due to combination of physical appearance, lack of familiarity with the new environment, and the development of race-based chattel slavery. And also, they couldn't speak their captors' language, such as English or Portuguese. Were taken advantage. It was very difficult to take advantage on other colors. Because some of the people out there, some of the colors were identified as superior. So it was easy to take advantage on us black people. Let's listen to this video as we continue to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And you can hear full explanation from this woman.
I am trying to get real with myself and with other white people, and it is painful work. There's a whole lot of blame toward black people for being the cause of how white people treat them, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. I decided to take a closer look at slavery, since that's such a big topic in the United States. There has been slavery all over the world forever, and all colors of people have enslaved other colors of people for as long as we know about. But the transatlantic slave trade, in which Europeans brought African and Caribbean black people to the United States to be free labor in the new colonies before they were really the United States, is a whole different story of slavery. Slavery historically had to do with who won and who lost a war, who was convenient, who stumbled by at the wrong time, and so it wasn't specifically race-based. So why did these white Europeans choose black people to enslave? Because their physical differences from whites made it easier to create lies that they were biologically inferior. They invented science to defend this. It was easier to make these people who looked so different from us less human. And that lie made it easier to justify torture, rape, family separation, and death on a massive scale. And it made them, quite frankly, easier to identify if they tried to escape. The legacy didn't disappear when slavery ended. Eugenics came along and fed the racial superiority notion of whiteness, and it influenced the Nazi narrative along with the racial one. It carried over into segregation, Jim Crow, housing, policing, incarceration, education, all of that. If we're ever going to fix what's broken, we need to get curious enough to name how it got broken in the first place. White people need to get curious so we can say no more, not on my watch.
Some of these African chiefs were dealing directly with Portuguese traders. Most slaves obtained through indigenous African wars and raids specifically intended for the purpose of capturing people for sale. This is what was happening. It's really sad. I wish our forefathers were still alive and tell us what really happened, because most of us, we don't know the truth. What we know is about what we are taught, but what really happened. And to date, I don't think we've got our forefathers alive who can tell us what really happened. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. The wholesaling slaves bit is so exaggerated. This is what another TikToker said. African leaders were pitted against each other by Europeans. They studied and exploited their differences, spread rumors, and started conflicts, wars amongst rival tribes. Let's listen to the speaker on this video, what she is saying, as we continue to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And also let me know by dropping a comment. As I said before, this topic is really debatable, so each and everyone can get involved.
Africans sold their own into slavery. I hate this comment so much and get it so often, so let's talk about why that statement is both heinous and disingenuous. First, if you read, you'd know that African systems of servitude were fundamentally different from what Europeans created. In many African societies at the time, enslavement was temporary, often results of war, debt, or crime, and people could marry, own property, and even regain freedom. That is nothing like the racialized, hereditary, and dehumanizing system of chattel slavery that Europeans built, a system where black people were treated as livestock, bred for labor, and tortured into submission. And even if Africans were involved in the trade, ask yourself, if someone sold you a person, what would you do? Would you chain them, beat them, rape them, force them to give birth to children you'd also enslave? Because that's what European enslavers did. Not just once, but systematically, by law and for profit. If it were me, I wouldn't buy them or I'd free them. I'd refuse to participate in the destruction of a human soul. But European colonizers didn't just accept the trade, they amplified it, scaled it, and legitimized it with laws, religion, and pseudoscience. So no, saying Africans sold their own isn't a history lesson. It's a deflection. It shifts blame away from the architects of one of the most brutal systems of oppression ever created. When you use that line to downplay or excuse what white enslavers did, you're not being objective. You're defending white supremacy. Whether you realize it or not, you're repeating a narrative designed to absolve the people who built, profited from, and protected the system of chattel slavery for generations.
Slavery is a topic where we can talk about it non-stop for years, for generation after generation. But the question remains, do you believe that black people sold our own? We sold our own? Or else, do you think we were manipulated by the masters or the colonies? Let me know what you think. At the end of the day, the history of slavery is complex and deeply painful for many communities. Like those often bring up strong emotions, but they can also be an opportunity to learn, reflect, and better understanding each other. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think those discussions help bring people closer to the truth about history, or do they create more division? Let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Even share this video to one of your friends and also discuss about the issue, and let your friend come and comment and let me know what you think. Make sure you watch this video from the beginning until the end for more discussions and breakdown of trending topics and global conversation. Thank you very much to all my subscribers, both remaining and new subscribers, for your love and support. Thank you, thank you. God bless you abundantly. Ciao, ciao. Bye. Mwah.
And Yummy in the building. Pass the screen. Let's chill. Organic from the top. Ja. You know the vibe. For real. We press play, then we laugh on cam. Tea in the club, but we don't do dram. From Josie to the world, it's a family thing. Real talk, big heart, let the good vibes hang. And Dummy channel, full of vibes. Organic content, we don't try. We react, we relate, we align. No hate, no drama on this side. And Dummy channel, full of vibes. Come as you are, you just right. We react, we relax, we rewind. No hate, no drama on this side. On this side, comments lit, but we keep it kind. You got jokes, put them in the line. We don't fake what you see on screen. Same love when we step on the scene. And Yummy channel, full of vibes. Organic content, we don't try. We react, we relate, we align. No hate, no drama on this side. On Yummy channel, full of vibes. Come as you are, you just right. We react, we relax, we rewind. No hate, no drama on this side. Yes, that side. If you feel that energy, type it in the chat. If you need a therapy, we can handle that. Only peace in the place when we all love around. Yummy, keep it pure, keep it light. And Yummy channel, full of vibes. Organic content, we don't try. We react, we relate. No hate, no drama on this side. And Yummy channel, full of vibes. Come as you are, you're just right. We react, we relax, we rewind. No hate, no drama on this side. And Yummy worldwide.
These are London buses. If you know, you know. That's Bexley Heath. 132. That's another bus going to Lewisham. It's not always double deckers. Sometimes we got these single deck buses. See, these are London buses, the popular London buses. North Greenwich 132. That one just arrived, and this is 161, just arrived. That's it.